for joining us this morning. My name is Ben Cooper, for those of you who don't know. So I am the primary principal at Wellington Academy RKL, and thank you for joining us this morning. It's a pleasure to be hosting you, and we're very excited about preparing to welcome our new students here at the Academy at the end of August. Just a few notices. So obviously, if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, you want any clarification, then just pop it in the chat and we'll go through the questions at the end. Okay, so if you do have any questions, then please feel free to go through the go use the chat to enter any questions you have, and we'll go through them at the end of the presentation. And again, we're recording this session for anyone that's got the camera on and doesn't want to be recorded. That's absolutely fine. Turn your videos off, but equally, you're very welcome to have your cameras on as well. Okay, so just before we get into the early years, in terms of all the logistics and what your child will be doing as they join us here in the foundation stage, I just want to talk to you about what we're about in general here at the Academy. So our vision is empowering today for a limitless tomorrow, and our job is basically to provide all the knowledge and skills to our students so that they can achieve anything in the future. And obviously, as you're joining us for the first time in FS, they're starting their journey with us, which we're very excited about. But as they go throughout the school and they travel along with us, our job is to equip them with all those skills and all that knowledge and all those opportunities that we want to offer so that they have a limitless tomorrow. And we break that down into three kind of core pillars. One is limitless learning. One is provide limitless solutions. And then the final one is to provide limitless possibilities. Limitless learning is really about, obviously, the academic side of our school. We want to provide students with that knowledge and those skills required to be successful in the world. We're very much driven by cognitive science, child psychology and development. We're very much research informed, and everything that our teachers do on a day-to-day basis is informed by best practice and what research tells of us. What's the most important things that we can do as educators to support your child's development. And obviously in the foundation stage, as Miss Howells will speak about in a second, that's about playing. It's about enjoyment as well, not just about jumping through hoops in terms of gaining knowledge. In order for our students to be successful, they need to be happy, and they need to be comfortable, they need to feel at home, they need to feel safe, and they need to feel enthused by the environment around them and what we offer them in order to be successful. But limitless learning, it really is our kind of academic pillar of what we want to do to ensure that our children are being as successful as possible. At the same time, we also want our children to develop what we refer to as self-regulation, to be able to regulate their own learning and become learners themselves who engage and take ownership over their own learning. And so we teach children about that the way they learn as well, and what's best practice for them as early learners in our foundation stage. It's about engaging with each other and engaging with the content around them and how they can help work towards their own personal goals and targets as well. The second pillar is limitless solutions. That's really our values driver. So we are very passionate about sustainability. We're very passionate about the Sustainable Development Goals from the United Nations. That's not just about the environment, but also about social equality as well. So it's very much about children in early years developing an understanding of how to collaborate with one another, to get along with one another, to understand each other's differences, etc. as well. But the idea is solution focused. So it's about working together to make the world a better place. And in the early years, that starts with things like recycling initiatives. It starts with understanding how to share and support each other and find solutions together to problems. And it's very much about the students really coming up with creative ideas to make the world a better place. And in FS1, that starts off with very simple ideas and then builds as the children progress through school to really complex ideas where they look at real world solutions, etc. And then the final pillar is limitless possibilities. And that really is about handing the ownership to our students. We want students to feel part of the learning journey. It's not a done-to process. We want children to believe that they are capable of anything. It's about belief, self-motivation, and taking ownership of that journey. And in our foundation stage, that's very much about students making choices about their learning, what they're accessing that moment in time, and then evaluating how well they're performing in these activities and making decisions about what they need to do next. That's obviously going to be exemplified in a second by Rebecca Howells, but I just wanted to talk you through what we're about as a school in general, and the journey that we want your child to be on over the years that they're with us. So that's all from me. I'm going to hand you now over to our director of the Early Years Centre, Rebecca Howells, who's going to talk about more of the specifics, because whilst all this is wonderful, I'm sure you've got questions about things like uniform and food and how the children eat and the day-to-day run-ins, because that's also what really matters for our parents, to ensure that there's clarity and our communication is really clear of how we can what we offer your students and what things you'll need to do to prepare for September and the end of August. All right, so I'm going to hand you over to Miss Rebecca Howells, our Director at Early Years Centre, who's going to talk you through the rest of the presentation. Enjoy.
Thanks, Ben. So just to reiterate what Ben said, please put any questions that you have on the live chat, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go along. And then if needed, I'll pick those up at the end. So welcome to the WEC family. My name is Rebecca Howells. Some of us may have met already if your child's already been for their assessment. And I can see a couple of faces that have just sat through my nursery presentation. So you will be sick of my voice by the end of this morning. Thank you for joining us. So I'm Rebecca Howells. My fancy title is Director of the Early Years. What that means is I have the absolute pleasure of overseeing the nursery, FS1 and FS2 here at Wellington Academy. I have a wonderful team that support me, including my head of phase, who is Holly Harron. Holly is an experienced teacher. She has had experience in the UK and experience of working in Dubai as well. Holly and I are both not based in class. We spend a lot of time in all of the classes, but we don't have our own class. So we're always here to help if you need it. And then I've got two amazing heads of year. Benita Calvert oversees FS2, and Firdaus Hussain looks after FS1. And we are all here to help as you start your journey with us at the Academy. So very quickly, we do follow the Early Years Foundation stage. That is a play-based curriculum with 7 areas of learning. We cover the prime areas, which are personal, social and emotional development, communication and language, and physical development. And then 4 specific areas that we do cover within FS1 and FS2. That's literacy, which is split into reading and writing, mathematics, understanding the world, and expressive arts and design. In terms of additional specialist sessions, which I will talk more about during the presentation, your children will also have Arabic sessions, music sessions, physical education sessions, which I will shorten to PE, and swimming. FS2 will swim all year, FS1 swim in term 3, but again, I'll come back to that in a few slides' time. So what I'll cover today in this webinar are school timings, including what our transition period looks like, attendance and punctuality. I'll mention uniform, food, transport if you need to use the school bus, how we will communicate with you and how you can get in touch with us, important contact details in terms of who can help you within the school, and then what the next step looks like before you come on your first day. So timings for the first 2 weeks. So our first 2 weeks are called our transition period. I'm actually going to talk about FS2 first because that's the simple one. Children who are joining FS2 need to be in school by 7:45 and the doors will open at 7:15. And then the children will remain in school with us until 1:30. That is because our children who have already completed FS1 with us, that is the length of their school day. However, if your child is joining us and this is their first experience of school, we can be flexible about what those timings look like. And sometimes for our students who are new to school, that is a very long day. And we can talk about making that day shorter just for those initial weeks as your child gets used to school. The school day finishes for everybody in Dubai on a Friday at 12 o'clock. In the foundation stage, I will open the doors at 11:30 and you can collect your child at 11:30. That's just on a Friday. Right, FS1, it's a little bit more complicated. Children who are joining us for the first time, we operate a staggered start approach. All children will do 2 hours only for the first 2 weeks. We operate 2 groups and we will split each class in half. 11 children will attend in group 1 and 11 children will attend in group 2. The timings for those groups, 7:30 to 9:30 or 11:30 to 1:30. And the reason that I've offered those timings are that they align with siblings in primary or siblings in FS2. You can let me know your preference for those groups and I will do everything I can to accommodate that, because I am asking that for those first 2 weeks, you find childcare arrangements around those times. We are really passionate about the need for these staggered starts, and I hope you'll allow me just a minute to explain why we just do the 2 hours for the first 2 weeks. Allowing the children to come in smaller groups means that they can really build those bonds with their new teachers and the teacher and the teaching assistant, that's a new face, and with their new peers. And even if children have been in nursery full-time from 8 months old, they still need that shortened time to build those bonds with those new adults and those new peers. It's children who might have been in nursery for a long time, that when everybody comes to school in a big group, they might not get the attention that they need from the teacher if the teacher's got 22 children, because their hands might be full settling children that are a little bit upset or might be having a little cry. To make sure that every single child gets a good amount of the teacher's time, we want the children in those smaller groups. And that's why we're passionate about our staggered starts. So your child will come for 2 hours only for the first 2 weeks. If your child is in group 2, on a Friday, that time will be 10 to 12 to coincide with that earlier finish on a Friday. On the first day, when we've got that staggered start, that transition period, children can only come on that first day if their assessment has taken place in school. When offers are sent out, those are conditional offers that say your child must attend an assessment session. Some of you will have already been for those because we ran a stay and play in February, March and April, and some of you will be booked in for the session on Monday. If you haven't already booked in for that, please get in touch with me. I've got another session in June, and then if you don't arrive to Dubai until after we break for the summer vacation, don't worry, because I will also run some sessions during the summer break and during the last week of August as well. But your assessment has to have happened before your child can start with us on their first day. For children joining FS1 and FS2, we do need the children to be toilet trained. They need to be able to use the toilet independently, which includes pulling clothes down and back up and cleaning themselves independently. We will ask that you sign an agreement to say that that toilet training process has taken place. We cannot have children coming in with pull-ups. We cannot have children coming in padded underwear. So on that first day, you will drop your child to the classroom and you'll be told which classroom to drop at. You can come into the classroom on that first day and you can stay to settle your child as needed, but you will need to leave at some point. If you sort of think that your child will be fine, they've had a sort of school experience before, I'd suggest sort of a 5 to 10 minute settle, a quick goodbye, and then go. I have some parents that say to me, I am not going to come in because I know that that's going to upset my child more. I'm just going to do a drop and go, and that's fine as well. We have been doing this for a long time. We are not fazed if children cry on that first day. We're happy to give them a hug as you leave. If your child is upset, I've got a lovely FS reception area where you can wait. I suggest that you get out of your child's eye line. So we'll sort of say, go, move away from the classroom door, and then come and wait in the reception area. And then myself and Holly will be running backwards and forwards saying, hey, stop crying now, we're absolutely fine, feel free to go, or we've settled, but give me another 5 minutes before you go. So we'll make sure that you feel really reassured before you leave your child. If your child absolutely doesn't settle, then what we might just say is, give us half an hour, take them for today, that's enough, and then just bring them back tomorrow and we'll have another go with the process again. Sometimes children will be absolutely fine for the first couple of days, and then the tears start as they realise, oh, I've now got to do this every day. And again, all we say is at some point you need to leave. They just need to build that trust with us that you will come back, and then everything will be fine. We ask that children come in on that first day wearing full school uniform, and I'll come on to what that looks like in a couple of slides. If your child's coming for the 2 hours, please just send in one small snack for them to have during that time, but also please send in some spare clothes. The environment is busy and the environment is exciting. Children might get wet with water play, or they may have a toileting accident, and we need those spare clothes in school to support with that. I would recommend for any child, FS1 or FS2, send in 5 pairs of underwear. We will keep that in school, and if that stays in school and covers them for the whole year, great. I would then ask that you send in at least 1 full set of additional clothing. A top, shorts or pants, and spare socks. They don't have to be full school uniform, but I ask that they are plain white, navy, or light blue. And the reason for that is, if I know that my spare clothing is my favourite Spider-Man t-shirt, it's quite often that I might spill my yogurt down me so I can put on said Spider-Man t-shirt. So we just ask that they're plain clothing with the hope that the children can then stay in their school uniform. If your child is coming to FS2, then you will send in a small snack and their lunch, because they will eat twice while they're with us on that first day. You will give to the class teacher the paperwork that's shared with you during the assessment. Toileting policy, All About Me booklet, and your DHA medical forms. We need those back on the first day, please. And please, 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 please be on time to collect your child from the class. Because when the children see that first grown-up arrive, they need to see that familiar face as well, because they'll be expecting you. And then I ask, please come back the next day. Even if that initial drop-off is really difficult, as I said, we just want to build that routine. If you know that you will be traveling, so you won't be here for the very first day of school, or you know that you'll need to have your assessment during that week, so we might need to delay your start, please let me know. It really helps if we know the first day to expect your child. From week 3, we then move into full-time hours. That then means that all children in FS1 and in FS2 attend from 7:45, although you can come in any time from 7:15, and the school day ends at 1:30. Remember, on a Friday, earlier finish, doors open at 11:30, children need to be collected by 12. Extended care will start from week 3. So if you want your child to stay a little longer at school, between 1:30 and 3, they can, but there is an additional cost for that. That is 250 dirham per week, and it is charged half-termly. If you want to use that service, I will send a sign-up out in week 1, and you will need to sign up because there are limited spaces. Don't worry though if you think I want to join, but I might not want to use that until term 2. Sign up using the link, let me know, and then I can have a look if we'll have enough allocated spaces. If you want to use extended care, the doors will open from 2:40, and you can pick up any time between 2:40 and 3. I ask, please, that all children are collected from the FS department by 3 o'clock. And if you are using that service because you are also collecting children from the primary school, please collect your youngest child first, because if it gets to 3 o'clock, they will be waiting for you. Some extended care, the children will move into smaller groups and they'll be supervised by one adult and have access to the resources within one of the classrooms. And the days are themed, so there'll also be a special activity on offer each day. We have Messy Monday, Try It Tuesday, Wiggly Wednesday, Thoughtful Thursday, and then we don't have extended care on a Friday. If your child moves to a different classroom for extended care, we'll let you know what the pickup point is and you collect from that classroom. If you have any questions about extended care, you can email me. Right, going to do a little bit here about attendance and punctuality. If you know that your child won't be in school, it's really useful if you can let the email address on the screen know. Then they will be marked as absent and you won't get a message from our system asking where your child is. If you can CC the class teacher into that as well, that's really useful because then we know where you are. As I said, we need you to be on time for pickup and drop off. So doors open at 7:15. Children can go to the classroom between 7:15 and 7:45. Anyone who arrives after 7:45, you will be marked as late. Even if you are able to accompany your child to the classroom, if it is after 7:45, registers will have been sent and that will be recorded as a late mark. I'll be super honest, I'm quite flexible for the first 4 weeks as everybody's getting used to the getting up times and the roads at that time. But from week 4, I do then become the door police and they are closed promptly because the teachers need to start teaching. If you arrive after 7:45, you will have to go to primary reception. You will not be allowed into the department once the doors are closed. And you may have to wait there for a while until a member of staff is available to come and walk the children to the classroom. And we won't let adults into the department at that time because the teachers are busy teaching. If you want to collect your child early from school, we can approve this, but we ask that you let us know in advance by filling out an early leave form, which will then be approved. That also then means that we'll have your child ready and waiting for you at the time that you need them. If you don't let us know and you turn up to school to collect, sometimes the children might be in a specialist session. We won't know where, we'll have to go and find them and you might have to wait. So just to save anybody getting cross with anybody else, let us know if you need an early pickup. Extended care does not act as an optional pickup time. If you enroll your child for extended care, then you are saying that you will come and pick them up between 2:40 and 3 o'clock. It doesn't mean that you can arrive at 2:15 and then collect your child. The doors will be closed and secured at that time. If your child's off for more than 2 days, we ask that you have a medical note to excuse them from school, and this can be sent to the clinic. Again, the email address is on the screen. And we do monitor attendance and punctuality really closely, and we'll be really transparent with parents about what your attendance and punctuality looks like. Yes, children will get sick and children need to have time off school when they are poorly. But we will let you know if your child's had a number of days off from school and their attendance percentage is starting to drop, just so that doesn't become a surprise at the end of the year when you get that on your child's school report. So, uniform. On the screen, you can see the uniform that the children can wear on a normal school day. Girls and boys can wear the blue polo top, navy shorts or skirts, and then it is black, navy or white socks, and black school shoes. Girls also have the option of the flowery dress, but it's the same with the black, navy or white socks and the black school shoes. The Wellington school bag is also part of our uniform policy. We ask that every family has the Wellington school bag. We do not allow wheelie bags. We do not allow character bags. It's the Wellington school bag or a plain black or navy backpack, please. As I said, at least one, I'd recommend 2 sets of spare clothes that will stay in the cubby They don't have to be school uniform. I know that can be expensive to buy if it's then going to sit in a cubby all year. On the day that your child has PE, and you'll be notified of that in the first week, we don't do any specialist in the first week, it's just normal school uniform. They will come to school wearing their PE kit. You will see that we've got 4 colours of PE kit on the screen. And that's because your child's PE kit represents which house they are in. You will be notified of the house that your child is in, and then you will buy the PE kit that corresponds with that house, and that's the team that they'll be in for their sports day. In terms of the backpacks can also be purchased to match your child's house colour. I don't mind though if your child is in the greenhouse, but they'd really like a red school bag. As long as it is a school bag, I don't mind which colour it is. Also, just to say here, please, that it's plain black or navy hair accessories. And please, no laces in your child's shoes unless they can tie them fully independently. And that includes the sports shoes that they will wear for PE day. Teachers spend all day tying laces if we have 22 children that come in with laced up sports shoes. So please, a Velcro fastening, or one of my top tips, replace your laces with elastic, and then it becomes a nice slip-on shoe. If your child is in FS2, they will also swim every week. On swimming day, they can come in dressed in their PE clothes, and they'll have their swimming uniform underneath. On swimming days, underneath that PE uniform, your child will wear their Wellington swimming costume or swimming shorts and their Wellington swim hat. They will then bring in some goggles, a towel or a robe to dry themselves. That will all go inside a swimming bag. That does not have to be a Wellington bag. That can be anything they like, but please not a wheelie bag, a bag that they can carry. And then Crocs or flip-flops, something that the children can slide on to walk to and from the pool. FS1 will swim, but they will swim in term 3. So I wouldn't recommend getting your swim uniform yet because your child will grow. Swimming is a compulsory part of the school curriculum. So unless your child has a medical note to excuse them, we expect that the children will swim every week. We have such wonderful swim facilities here. The children are really lucky to have access to those, and it's really important to teach swim safety in Dubai. So we want the children swimming every week. And as I've said, they swim first lesson, so they come to school with their swim uniform underneath their PE kit. I've talked about the houses. So if your child is in Pearl House, they will wear the white PE kit. Ruby House is the red. Onyx House is the black, and Emerald House is the green, and you'll get that information really, really soon. Something else that we ask that all children have in school is the Wellington cap. We promote sun safety, so no hat, no outdoor play. Again, I don't mind which colour the hat is. I do recommend the hat that also comes with the flap to cover your child's neck. Please ensure that hats are labelled. Right, I'm going to talk a little bit now about snack and lunch. So we're really lucky in FS that the children have a dedicated dining area that they will go to eat, and they will eat twice within the normal school day. Snack time, that's the first time that the children eat, between 8:30 and 9:30. That is a short 20-minute snack. If your child has a good hearty breakfast at home, a small snack will suffice. But if your child finds before they come to school a little bit early for breakfast, you might want to bulk out what you send for them at snack time. Then between 11:30 and about 12:45, we have our sittings for lunch. Lunch is longer, 30 minutes. You might want to make that your more substantial meal. If your child needs cutlery, please send that in. We don't offer that within school. We are a strict no pork and no nuts school. If your child has nuts in their lunchbox, we will have to put them to one side and then send them home due to allergies. For the last 2 years, I've also had to limit seafood within the department because we've had 2 really serious seafood allergies. So other foods may have to be limited if we have those medical needs within the department. And we thank our families in advance for their understanding with that. You can also order food. It's done via WhatsApp through our company, which is called Slices. You sort out all the food that's ordered and it arrives to the class time at the dedicated snack and lunch time. Feedback I've had from my parents this year that have used Slices is wonderful portion sizes, real variety with the menu, and that the children really enjoy the food. So there is that option there for you as well. Just going to go back and talk a little bit more about food. We are really proud with the way that we promote healthy eating habits right from nursery within our school. So we ask that all families provide that healthy lunchbox for their children. So items like chicken nuggets, pizzas, fries, cookies and cakes, we ask that they are not included. And we also ask that flavoured milk is not sent into school. Children are, however, on a Tuesday allowed to bring 1 treat in their lunchbox for what we call Treat Tuesday. And that ends up being a really joyous part of the week where the children enjoy talking about the treats that they've got, but they are limited on other days. As I've said, please send in any cutlery that's needed from home. Grapes, large blueberries, cherries, and cherry tomatoes, we ask that they are cut at home to avoid any choking hazards into quarters, please. And again, we will monitor healthy eating really carefully and have a chat with you if we feel that we need to make any changes to lunch boxes. If your child is not a fan of fruit or vegetables, it's a really great time to start to introduce them into their lunchbox, because as everybody is eating those and we're talking about it with our friends as we're eating, children can be tempted to try new foods. We, however, will never force a child to eat. And sometimes in those early days when children are feeling a little bit nervous and everything is new, appetite can be a little bit less. So if you feel like your child isn't eating as much as you would expect them to, please let the class teacher know and we'll have a look what we can do to overcome that. But I don't recommend overfilling your child's lunchbox. Send in what you know that they will eat and let them be really successful and come home with an empty lunchbox at the end of the day. The children will carry their lunchboxes to the dining area. So we recommend that any pots are labelled and then sent in 1 lunch bag that they can carry. But if you want them to eat specific foods during snack and lunchtime, just pop those into separate bags and just label them. And then we can monitor that and make sure that they're eating what you want them to have for snack at snack time and lunch at lunchtime. Talked about slices. You'll also need to send a water bottle in with your child each day. It can be refilled at school. We've got water coolers, but we ask that you clean that regularly at home. And please, 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 to be the teacher's pet, send in a non-spill water bottle. The bottle on the screen that you can see crossed out, drive us mad. Because if the children drop them without the top on, the water goes everywhere and it's a real health and safety hazard. So something that if it's dropped, because that will happen, doesn't spill, and we will be forever thankful. Birthday celebrations. So we celebrate the children's birthdays within the class. That is just for the children within the class. We do not invite parents to come in on birthdays to join in that celebration. And we do ask that children wear their school uniform even on their birthday. If you would like to, parents are welcome to send a small favour into school to celebrate your child's birthday. We ask that these are individually wrapped so they can be handed to each child at the end of the day, and then they can be taken home so that parents can give permission for these. We are going to limit if it is an edible favour that is sent into school. We would like this, please, to be a healthy option. So not cupcakes or muffins or cookies. I've put some very creative alternatives that could be sent in for those treats, because we are a healthy eating school and we want that to reflect within our birthday celebrations also. To give you that in context, I've had one class in FS1 that have had 7 birthdays in the last 2 weeks. So that's been 7 cupcakes that have ended up going home. So we really want to limit that for next year for healthy birthday celebrations. Buses. If you need your child to use the school bus, it will usually get the children into school for about 7:30. There is a bus attendant on every bus that will walk your child to the classroom, hand over to the teacher, and the reverse happens at the end of the day. A member of the teaching team will walk your child to the bus and hand over to the bus guardian. During the staggered starts for FS1, buses will run at all of those times. So if your child needs to leave at 9:30, there will be a bus. If your child needs to arrive for 11:30, there will be a bus. If your child needs to leave at 1:30, there will be a bus. When we're on full-time hours, we have 2 buses at the end of the day. One is the 1:30 bus at the end of the FS school day. That's usually a quieter route because it's only foundation stage children who take the bus at that time. So you'll find that your journey time to home is quicker if you take the 1:30 bus. You usually have about 4 or 5 students on each bus. If your child is staying for extended care and then taking the 3 o'clock bus home, that is a busier service because there are children right up to secondary on that bus, so journey times may increase. If your child is taking the bus and there's a particular day that you do not want them to get the bus, you're going to come into school and pick them up, lovely, but we need to know before 11 o'clock. Teachers will have a quick check of their emails during their lunch break just to make sure that nobody has changed their home time arrangements and they won't see anything after that time. So if you make sure the email's sent before 11, we will make sure that we pick that up. If you also CC in the reception team and the bus team, we'll make sure that that message is picked up. If you know that you will be using the school bus, I would recommend that you get in touch with Samuel, whose email address is on the screen, and let him know now the route that you will need so that he can start to make preparations for that. If you leave that until the other end of the summer vacation, you may find that the route that you need is not offered, and then parents are really disappointed about transport options. How we will communicate with you. Hopefully you will feel that we have a really good balance for letting you know what's going on at school. So if you're picking up and dropping off, you've got daily dialogue at the door each day. If your child uses the bus, we'll make sure that we're giving you regular calls to check in. However, you can request a meeting or a phone call with the teacher at any time. And as teachers, we are always happy to talk about the children within our class, so please don't be a stranger. But if you want to request that meeting, please email the class teacher, give them 24 hours to organise their diary, and they will offer a meeting within the next week, so 5 working days. We use an app called Seesaw, which you'll get your login during the first week. We will share photographs on that of your child enjoying their learning. We just ask that each week you like at least 1 post, so we know that you are seeing those. Every Friday, you will get a newsletter from your class teacher. If you ignore all other correspondence from school, just read that newsletter and it will give you all of the information you need about upcoming dates and things that are going on in school. Attached to that, you'll get a summary of the learning that's gone on for the week and ideas that you can do to follow that up at home. Really lovely practical ideas. And a little bit more formal, you get 3 termly school reports and you get 3 opportunities for those more formal parent-teacher meetings. The first one happens after your child's been in school for 3 weeks, and that's just to talk about how your child has settled in. Gives you a chance to ask any questions that you have, and it just gives us a chance to share our observations about how they're getting on in their new setting. I'm just going to leave these useful email contacts up on the screen. Reception, you can contact them, as I said, for early pickups. You can let them know if there are changes to pickup arrangements. And that's the email address that you need to send your photographs to get your yellow parent lanyard. You send a headshot of anybody who would collect your child to reception, and they will make your lanyards for you. You've got Samuel up there who will sort the buses. You've got our absence team to report absence. Finance, anything to do with fees, the clinic for medical notes, and the registrar, anything to do with admissions. Our government relation executive, she will support with anything KHDA, like signing KHDA contracts. And then our parent relations executive can support you if you need to pass on any questions to the class teacher. Although, if I'm honest, I would suggest if you need to have a chat about anything that's going on in the class and you can't speak to the class teacher, come and see me or Holly, and we're around every day and we can help you there. But I'm just going to leave those up on the screen and just have a quick scroll through the chat and check if there's anything there that I have missed. So I've talked about PE uniform and said that you will choose the colour that matches your house. Bags, as long as it's a Wellington bag, I honestly don't mind which colour your child chooses. For FS1, it will be a 2-hour class and the buses will come within those sessions, and the same for Friday. So if your child is in Group A, the bus will drop them for 7:30 and the bus will take them home at 9:30. If your child is in the second group, the bus time will just change for Friday. It will bring them in for 10 and it will take them home for 12. I hope that's clear. During extended care, I said that the children are based in the classroom and they've got access to the class resources. They will also, when the weather allows, spend some time in our outdoor area being active, and our Wiggly Wednesdays have that active sports focus on that day. So I hope that answers that question. The uniform policy, just going back to another bag question, the uniform policy is the Wellington bag. So we do ask that the Wellington bag is purchased. If you are completely adverse to it being a Wellington bag, then plain navy or black will be accepted, but we do ask that there's no other branding on that. There is a bus attendant on the school bus throughout the journey, yes. So one bus attendant on each bus. In the morning when the child arrives, that bus attendant will walk the child down to their class and do the handover. As I said, at the end of the day, it will be a member of the teaching team that walks the children back to the bus and then hands over to the bus attendant who stays on the bus with them. And where possible, we try and keep those bus attendants consistent throughout the year, and they are female bus attendants. Thank you for that question. Continue to pop any questions in the chat and I'll just do my last few slides. We are very active on social media and we try and post on there every day, which again gives you a lovely window into the classroom. So please do start following us if you're not already. If you do not want your child included on social media, that's absolutely fine. Just let your class teacher know and we'll pop you on our list and make sure that your child's not included. And then what happens next? So if you haven't already booked in for an assessment, please get in touch with me to make sure that that happens. As I said, you will not be able to start with us on the 26th if we haven't had that assessment take place. Then start to purchase your uniform, including bags. And another one of my top tips is practice wearing that uniform during the summer break. It gets the children really excited for school. And also it starts that really good routine. So just practice putting it on and praise what a big boy or girl they are now. Look out sort of mid-June for your class allocation email. That will tell you who your child's class teacher is, which class they will be in, and it will give you their house. If your child's joining FS1, it will also give you the group that they will be in for staggered starts. If you've got a preference, let me know before the middle of June. And also, any questions that you have my email address. Please contact me. Anyone who knows me will know that I love to talk early years. I'm so passionate about the department and I'm really happy to answer any questions. Just had one more question that's popped up on the chat that asked about sports uniform. There is a sports uniform. I'll just find the slide and flash that up for you. Your child will come to school wearing it on the day that they have PE. There you are, it's nicely modelled in the middle. And the uniform that you buy will match the house that your child's in, which will come on your class allocation email. On sports days, it's white socks and white sneakers, please, with no laces. Just going to whiz back to my final slides. And there we are done. So I will thank you for your time this morning. I'll just hang around for a couple more minutes if anybody wants to put anything else into the chat. I hope that was useful. I hope that gave you lots of information that will support your journey into our school. And we are so looking forward to your child starting with us very soon. Thank you so much for your time this morning.